Good day. In this video, we're going to show you how to use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations. And then we're going to discuss all the answers you get. We call the answers roots here. If you want to know where this quadratic formula comes from, you must look at the video that says deriving the quadratic formula. It comes from this quadratic equation. You do completion of the square and then you end up here. The a's, the b's, and the c's that you see in this formula, you find over here. The a is the quotient of x squared, the b is the quotient of x, and c is the constant at the back. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to say that a is the thing in front of the x squared with its sign, the b is the thing in front of the x with its sign, and the c is the thing that has no x attached to it. Here's our first problem. They give us this x squared minus 4x minus 1 equals to 0, and they say solve for x by using the quadratic formula. The first rule is get this equation in standard form. So get it on either side of the equal, doesn't matter which one. Put a naught on the other side and have it in the order x squared, then the x, then the no x. Then write down what a is, b is, and c is. A is the thing in front of the x squared with its sign. The b is the thing in front of the x with its sign, and the c is the thing at the back that has no x attached to it. Then write down the quadratic formula, which I'm not going to do. Then substitute these values into the formula in brackets with its signs. Then remember, there's a plus and minus here, so there are two sums in here. Then we're usually going to plug it into the calculator. We're going to end up into the two answers inside these circles. I haven't rounded them off. There's little dots at the back there. But when you start using the quadratic formula, I advise you to do the following. First, work out this little piece outside here. Keep the plus minus, keep the root. Work out the thing underneath here and work out the bottom part. For at least 10 or 20 sums, come up to this step and then you only move on. If you weren't allowed to use a calculator, you would have gone down this road and ended up here. Then, if you simplify this, you would end up with this answer here. 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. Now, there's two answers in here. The two answers are 2 plus square root of 5 or 2 minus square root of 5. If you used a calculator, you would have got this answer, 4,236 and on, and minus 0,236 and on. You must round it off. I assume you understand and rounding off. If they tell you to write the answer to a certain amount of decimals, you will use these two answers. If they say leave it in surd form, you'll use these two answers. Please stop the video and get your brain around this. Now, when I'm going to do nature of the roots, I'm going to send you back to this video. So that's why I'm going to do the following. The answers we got over here, these two answers here, are the answers to this quadratic equation. But they're also called the roots in maths. Now that part underneath the square root in our formula influences the answers to our question. So that b squared minus 4ac became 20 here. That's why I needed this step. And this 20 will determine the nature of our answers. So if they ask you what is the nature of the roots of this equation, you will say they are real, they exist, they are irrational, and they are unequal. Explain again, the real means there is an answer on your calculator. The unequal means there are two answers coming at you. And the irrational means if you push this square root of 20 into your calculator, you will never be able to give us an answer exactly. You'll have to round it off or leave it in surd form. Please stop the video and understand everything that we explained here. Please do all 4 the sums I'm doing on this video on your own and write everything down as a summary for yourself. Here's our next equation. They say solve by using the quadratic formula. You write down what a, b, and c is. You plug it into the formula in brackets. You work these 3 parts out separately. Keep the thing under the square root. Work it out, keep the plus minus. Later, we will just plug it into our calculator. Then you'll end up here. Now, if you use your calculator immediately, it would have given you an error. Because under the square root here, is a negative number. That makes this non-real. There is no solution here. There will be no answers here. That's why you then will understand why your calculator gives you an error. You need to go past this step every time, please. So you will write the answers are non-real. So how we write non-real in maths. The calculator will give you an error and you stop now. There's nothing more to say about these answers. So the roots are non-real. Please stop the video and get your head around this equation's answer. Here is our next equation. It says solve this equation by using the quadratic formula. Write down what A, B, and C is. Substitute it into your formula in brackets. Work out these three parts separately. That'll get us here. What is special about this answer now is that this 25 is square rootable. It will become 5. So we'll have minus 1 plus or minus 5 over minus 6, which we haven't had today yet. If you weren't allowed to use a calculator, you would have gone down this road and ended up here. There are two answers in here, 1 plus 5 over 6 and 1 minus 5 over 6. So x equals to either 1 or x equals to minus 2 over 3. So you can see that we have two nice answers comparing to the previous two questions. So like I've said now, we had to find out what this b squared minus 4ac is because it influences this formula. And it was 25. And we can square root 25. So from this 25, I now know my roots are going to be real, or my answers are going to be real. They're going to be there. They're going to be rational. I can get to an answer. And they're unequal. There is two answers. Please stop the video and get your head around this equation from the beginning to the end and to the nature of the answers. Here is our last equation that we have to solve using the quadratic formula. First, get it in standard form. That means get it to one side of the equal with a naught on the other side and put it in the right order, x squared, x, no x. Write down what A, B, and C is. Substitute into the formula. Work these three parts out separately. And then get to this stage. Three parts worked out separately. The answer we got of b squared minus 4ac was naught. This will influence our answer. Let's see how. Naught can be square rooted. The square root of naught is naught. Now careful. Here we are going to get two answers. 4 plus naught over 2 and 4 minus naught over 2. So the one answer is x equals to 2 or x equals to 2. So we're actually getting two answers, but they are equal. They are the same. So my answers are real. They exist. They are equal. We got the same answer. And they are rational. They worked out nicely. So in future, when you get to this step, and you can see that b squared minus 4ac is 0, you already know your answers will be real. They will exist. They'll be equal. It's going to be the same answers. And they will be rational. They work out. Please stop the video and understand what happened from the beginning to the end. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked the video and subscribe to the channel.